I'm Bob Ames. I'm from Calvin College, and it's my pleasure to kind of welcome you back after lunch and after a really exciting morning, a good kickoff for the 2015 MWest Challenge. Um, as most of you know, the MWest Challenge is our signature student business plan competition for the year, and it's a great collaboration for our students, but also for a number of institutions in the area. And as I was thinking about this, a couple of you know me well, and you know that I love the name of this group of institutions that we have here in West Michigan. We call it WAMCUG. WAMCUG, right? So I was looking at the list of names for your business plans today, and I'm a marketing guy, so I pay attention to these things. I'm like Wrench It, Quick Eats, Class Chat, Big B Hops, Find You, Muck Flats Meadery, Munchies. I'm so jealous. You know, I mean, those are great names. They've got the potential to build a lot of brand presence and brand equity in the market. We've got WAMCUG. WAMCUG is the West Michigan College and University Group. And quite frankly, we don't want our brand to be a big thing because we really exist to promote all of you. And it was really the brainchild of Jody Vanderwell, who's right here in the front row, who's the director of Grand Angels, an angel investment group here in West Michigan. Several years ago, she had the idea of really getting the colleges and the universities in the area to cooperate and to work with that investment group. And it didn't work out quite that way, but she's a good entrepreneur, so there was a little pivot, and instead it became this group of 7 colleges and universities that collaborate and do things like this with students and then engage with the business community as well. So we're just so excited to see what this has become in the years that we've been working together. The group now includes 9 institutions in the area. I'm going to read their names because not only are they all here and not only do we have students here in the competition, but all of our colleges and universities are sponsors of this event too, so we pony up some money to make this happen. So here's the list: Aquinas, Calvin, Cornerstone, Grand Rapids Community College, Grand Valley State University, Hope College, Davenport University, Kendall College of Art and Design, and Kuiper College. And since the launch of MWest in last November this year, so here's some of those fun facts. We've had 80 students attend the kickoff event, 115 applications were submitted, 66 executive summaries were received, and today we've got 41 teams representing over 100 students from these 9 schools in the area. So let's just give all of the students that have participated a hand. That's awesome. And I've got to say this too, a special thanks to Grand Valley State University and the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, Kevin McCurran and Sharuk. There's Sharuk over there, and where's Kevin? Kevin's right back there. Coming from one of the smaller institutions in the area, we just appreciate how they embody the spirit of a regional university and their generosity and their support for all of the colleges and universities in the area is especially something that we're especially grateful for. So thank you very much for that. I want to recognize our sponsors as well real quickly. These are the companies and the individuals who've also given us money to make this event and all these great prizes possible. First of all, our platinum sponsors, Spectrum Health Innovations, GR Current. Gold sponsors, Varnum, GLT Capital Advisors, Start Garden. Our silver sponsors, Spartan Innovations and David Hune. And then our supporters, Atomic Object, Doug Finch, Christopher Braniff, and Kevin McCurran. So let's give our sponsors a round of applause as well. So thank you very much for all that money. And now I want to invite John Maroney to come up. He's a professor from Kendall College of Art and Design. And he's going to explain how the categories and the prizes are going to be awarded. There's been just a minor change, but he'll explain that. So John, come on up.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, we have a slight change in the way that we're going to do the grand prizes. So the intent behind the Master Class Award was to provide an opportunity for the students that have had additional support and resources from corporate partners, grant funding, investment capital, the opportunity to compete at a higher level, and then the early stage ideas, a fair opportunity to compete for prize money as well. What ended up happening is all of our master class competitors are sponsored by Spectrum Health. So it sort of became the Spectrum Health show, which is fine, but we wanted to balance the equation a little bit. So we are essentially going to award one grand prize of $6,500 for the Spectrum Health Master Class winner, and then we will be awarding a second prize for the Spectrum Health competitors of $2,500. As before, we will be awarding a $6,500 grand prize to the early stage ideas, but we've also added a $2,500 second place prize to the early stage ideas. So we are essentially dissolving the Spectrum Health category award into the master class because they are indeed the same companies competing for the two awards. So sorry for the confusion. It helps spread things out a little bit, and we're expecting good competition and looking forward to giving away a lot of money to well-deserved competitors. So thanks for your patience and as we make the change, and we'll have Spencer come up, and he's going to be your host for the final round of presentations.
Well, I hope everybody had a good lunch, and it's nice to see everybody still here. I'm going to spend a little time introducing our final round of judges here. First off, we have Paul D'Amato. He is the Managing Director at the Grand Angels. Diane Durrance is the President of MWest. Harvey Koning, Attorney at Varnum Law. Gary Tilken, President at GLT Capital Advisors. Dennis Johnson, CIO of Comerica Asset Management Group. Judy Vanderwell, President of the Grand Angels. And Kim Cross, Chief Operating Officer and Director of Philanthropy at Michigan's Women's Foundation. Okay, so here we go. This is what everybody's been waiting for. What I'm going to do is call up each team individually, obviously, and they are going to have 10 minutes to present, just like on the first round. We're going to give the judges about a minute, minute and a half to kind of solidify their thoughts, and then we're going to have a 3-minute round of questions. So to kick things off, we're going to bring up Airway Innovations. Are they here? Oh, yep, okay. How you doing?
Is there nowhere to put props? Is there nowhere good?
I'll hold it.
Yeah. Yeah?
Sure.
I could just set it up on the judges table otherwise. But
Test, okay.
I'll be
This
your
one too,
banner.
in case this one doesn't work.
okay.
We also have a clip on if you want. Let me save quick viewers.
They were nice enough to invite me to do the timing again because I did such a good job for the idea pitch. So I'm going to be giving you 2 cues, one 3-minute and one 1-minute. I'm going to be sitting right there, so I'm going to wave it, try to acknowledge me. I don't want to cut you off again.
But you will.
But I will.
If you don't want to hold it, set it down there.
Do you want me to set it on there? You can pass it around.
Yeah, doesn't matter to me. Hi, my name is Eric Van Bindorp, and I designed a medical device to solve a problem that every hospital has, which is patients pulling out their breathing tubes. Now, in the U.S. alone, there are over 15 million breathing tubes placed each year, and these breathing tubes, also known as endotracheal tubes, help keep the airway open and provide direct passageway for oxygen to the lungs. Now, the problem is that my clicker isn't working. Over 85% of patients are going to try to pull out their breathing tube, And if you're wondering why, imagine you wake up. You don't know where you are. You're confused, you're restrained, and you feel like you're choking on this tube going down your throat. Because of the tube, you can't communicate with anyone around you. Now, I don't know about you, but the first thing I would do is try to pull out this tube. But sadly, even attempting to do so can cause significant airway trauma, and a lot of people also die. So this trauma is going to result in an additional $30,000 in costs, primarily due to additional treatment. So you have a longer time in mechanical ventilation, longer time in the ICU, and longer time in the hospital overall. Current solutions include sedation, which works well to prevent pain and awareness of the tube, but the problem is that as the patient is weaned off, they become far more likely to pull out their tube, therefore it's not effective. Next, you have restraints. These don't work very well because the patient is still able to reach down and grab the tube. They can thrash their head from side to side or even use their tongue and soft palate to push the tube out of their throat. And also, it's just not good patient care. I mean, who wants to go to the hospital and see their loved one strapped down to a hospital bed? Next, you have tape. It may be wrapped around the patient's head and onto the breathing tube. This provides a lot of support, but the adhesive breaks down from all the saliva and secretions outside the patient's mouth, so the tube can slide freely. Next, you have endotracheal tube holders. These are a great step up from tape. They're a lot more repeatable. They offer other benefits, but the way they hold on to the breathing tube is still flawed. And to give you a little more detail, here are the two of the most commonly used. On the left, you have the Hollister Anchorfast. They hold about 50% of the market. But just like tape, they use an adhesive strap to wrap around the tube. Same problem. The adhesive breaks down from the saliva. The tube can be pulled out very easily. On the right, you have the Thomas tube holder, and this one, as well as the other devices available, hold the remaining 50% of the market between them. And this one uses a clamp to hold onto the tube. The problem is the tube is usually slimy before you even put these on, so the clamp just slides all over the place. Plus, the clamp can actually collapse the tube, and that can be detrimental for the patient. So to solve this problem, I designed and developed a tube holder with feedback from over 30 healthcare professionals at Spectrum Health. And these are basically anyone who comes in contact with this device, so respiratory therapists, nurses, wound care specialists, as well as surgeons. And they were brought in at different stages in the design to provide feedback, as well as to validate the problem. And the way we prevent the tube from being pulled out is twofold. First, we do use an adhesive strap to wrap around the tube. But what this does is it helps keep the holding assembly in line with the tube and prevents the tube from being pushed in. To actually prevent the tube from being pulled out, what we did was put a physical retaining block or structure in front of the end of the breathing tube. And what this does is it makes it physically impossible to pull out. This is incredibly simple, but that's what makes this so great. It's inexpensive to manufacture, it's easy to use, and it's extremely unlikely that it's going to fail. Additional advantage is less skin breakdown as well as mitigation of pressure sores. So what we did is we spread the face structure up across the cheeks, added in a forehead strap, as well as a strap behind the back of the head. This makes it far more stable and very difficult for a patient to remove on their own. Also, there's a foam backing behind it that helps prevent any relative motion between the patient's face and the holder, thereby reducing skin breakdown. To eliminate pressure sores, we put a rail on the structure that goes above the patient's lip. This way you can slide the tube back and forth in the patient's mouth, and you can really drop the occurrence of the pressure sores. And this device is universal as it fits any size breathing tube and is currently designed for adults. Also, it is a Class 1 exempt medical device, so FDA regulations are very limited. And this device can be sold at a price point similar to competing products, or about $10, and we got it there two ways. First, the Hollister Anchorfast I mentioned earlier is sold to Spectrum Health for $7 currently. After speaking with the respiratory therapist directors, who are the key influencers in the buying decision, as well as the supply chain management heads who actually make that final buying decision, it was clear that they are more than willing to pay that extra $3 for the benefits that this offers. It's also justified by the cost of goods sold. So this is assuming a scale of about 10,000 units, and this price could be dropped about in half if you scale up to about 100,000, where you have $3 for the injection molded components, 50 cents for both the straps and the backing, and then $2 dedicated for assembly and packaging. So the market is about $45 million per year, where it's growing about 5% per year. And our target segment is hospitals, but this can be expanded by scaling the device for pediatric use or by having the Department of Defense use this. And that's because due to the increased stability of the device, and it's far more likely for a patient to pull it out, it could have great use for transporting wounded troops. In my financial projections, 2015 includes all of the costs due to the product development and attaining that licensing agreement. I might have skipped. Okay, so I will make money via technology licensing agreement with an existing medical device manufacturer. I'm currently in talks with 2 that want to license the device after they actually see a functional prototype. And I'm very confident that I'll get this agreement because of a trend that's going on in medical, which is these larger manufacturers want to purchase a device that's been validated. They don't have the resources or don't want to dedicate the resources to this phase 0 development from problem identification to solution because it's very time consuming and very expensive. They'd rather stay in their sweet spot of obtaining these and then getting it pushed through FDA and manufacturing. Also, most companies don't have access to clinicians, so they can't even identify the problem or validate their technology that they come up with. So in my financial projections, 2015 includes all the costs due to research development and obtaining that licensing agreement. And by 2016, I expect to have a licensing partner in place where they will fund going through FDA regulations and manufacturing. By 2017, some revenue begins to come in through that royalty agreement, and this assumes a 1-year trial with Spectrum Health, which they're more than willing to do and want to start as soon as possible. And then in 2018, revenue begins to increase significantly by utilizing our partner's distribution network. One of the people I'm talking with has a worldwide footprint, so this could be pushed out very quickly, and this could be very big. So in 2018, we're assuming 50 hospitals of a size similar to Spectrum Health using this device, but that will grow. So the next important step is prototyping. In order to obtain that licensing agreement, I have to have functional prototypes molded. That's going to cost in the ballpark of $12,000, which gives me some wiggle room to make modifications if need be. Also, I'm going to have to convert my provisional patent to a full patent, which will cost about $15,000 to cover multiple embodiments. Additional costs that will come up are legal fees associated with negotiating this licensing agreement, as well as a royalty fee that is going to have to be paid to Spectrum Health. The IP was owned by Spectrum Health in Grand Valley because this was developed under a grant, but is currently held by Airway Innovations. I have to pay a royalty fee to them based on sales. So to make all this happen, you need a great team. I'm a mechanical engineering graduate student at Grand Valley, and I have 3 years of experience in medical device design and manufacturing. I'm also working with experienced engineer, industrial designer, and local manufacturers to get these prototypes made. I'm also working with Spectrum Health clinicians who are continuing to provide feedback on the design and are helping push this out into the market. And finally, I have experienced entrepreneurs at GR Current as well as Spectrum Health Innovations who are helping guide me towards a successful business. So with your help, we can help bring this life-saving technology to market. Thank you.
Great job.
Do you guys need a minute to? Okay.
You guys good deliberate? Yeah? First question.
Say you're 4, 5, 6 years from now, this thing is really rolling. What is the total revenue and profit potential for your company based on the royalties you received and the royalties you have to pay out?
Great question. Assuming 10% market penetration, it would be about $300,000 in royalties per year paid to Airway Innovations. Then that would continue to grow up until it would cap out around $1 million, depending on how much of the market we could obtain.
Point of clarification, the $10 price that you're recommending, how does that compare to the price of a current product in the market?
That is about $2 more than the current available product, but because of the additional benefits that it offers and the money savings and improved patient care at any hospital, from what the people I've talked to, they're more than willing to pay that extra cost.
Thank you.
Yep.
What is your intellectual property actually? What are you protecting, and how difficult would it be to duplicate what you've developed?
Great question. So we've done a very extensive research on the patent landscape, working with an experienced patent attorney in medical, and based on what we've seen, the provisional covers both the design as well as the method that we're using to actually pull out this, or prevent the tube from being pulled out. Very good coverage. And also the full patent, we're looking at doing 3 embodiments to make sure if this is modified for a different type of patient, it will cover that as well. It'll be very difficult to get around this patent.
Great presentation. Just another clarification. Of the $10, what's the margin that's going to the company?
That'd be a $4 gross profit. So, and that would go to the licensing partner, and then based on their revenue, we'd get a cut of that, so a 3 to 5% royalty fee.
The prototype looks very complete. Is it actually in use?
At this point, it's not in use. So we've made it to a design freeze, but we have to get those functional prototypes molded. So not right now, it's kind of a combination of 3D printed parts and then parts that I've cut out of some plastic. Once we get them molded, the next step is to get more validation from the clinicians. And then it can't actually get into use until you're going through a company that is actually approved by the FDA, as well as the device that's been approved. So that would be in the future.
How comfortable is this device for the patient?
It is extremely comfortable, so that's what we were going for, because the patient actually wears this for 6 to 9 days before it's removed typically. So what we try to do is make sure there's not plastic in contact with the patient's face at any time. Make sure we have a skin-friendly backing, something that doesn't absorb any moisture so you don't get that skin breakdown. So that was one of our key things that we were looking to do, because current devices, they're very uncomfortable. They dig into the skin in multiple places, and you can actually cut through the skin and get some very painful sores that actually have to be treated further in the hospital.
I think we've got time for one more.
Ultimately, will you need another reimbursement code, or will you be? I mean, I imagine you're starting off on on an existing code, but will this be something that will have a different reimbursement code in the future?
I think I understand your question. So this device is non-reimbursable from an insurance agency. This is something that the hospital buys directly, and then it's not reimbursable. So, yep.
All right, well, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Next, we have bus stop time. Come on up. Price is right. Sure, maybe next year we can get like a band for the, yeah. Yeah, I'll do a little bit. Where did you go? Did you leave your USB up here? Where'd you go?
Right here?
There's so many USBs. Where
Never done this before. Huh? It's on. Can you hear me? Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Here. Testing. I think so.
How well is your presentation memorized?
No, wait, we'll get it done.
Sure.
This computer is freezing.
What? Oh, you're asking me? I thought you were asking me to do it. He froze the computer. I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go. It's right there.
There it is.
Try
That
again.
one? Yep.
Cross your fingers. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Right there. extended period of time. There we
This
go.
is the clicker. Hopefully it works.
Hopefully.
Ish. What? This? Yeah? But it's not on the. Oh! I'll be doggone. All right. Everybody ready? Here we go.
Hello, my name is Thomas Nichols,
I'm Stan Bishop.
I'm Michael Pratt.
and we created B-Stud, Bus Stop Time Update Display Module that eliminates one's anxiety from standing and waiting at a bus stop. Here at Grand Valley, taking the bus is essential to our education and transportation around campus. If you're like 50% of the students use the bus as a primary transportation, or 60% of the students who own a vehicle and still choose to ride the bus, knowing where it is important. Come on, we're human. We tend to forget things. For example, checking to see when the bus will be arriving at the next stop before leaving your home. This issue affects 60% of the students who ride the bus. And you ask yourself, why couldn't you just download an app? Because we eliminate the effort it takes someone to download the app, texting it to putting information into the module at the bus stop. Imagine walking up to a bus stop and knowing for a cold hard fact that you will catch the bus. It's a worry feeling as a student. What we have done is got rid of the worry factor. B-Stud, Bus Stop Time Update Display Module. B-Stud will let you know many things like if the bus is on time, late, early, today's forecast, 5-day forecast, and finally but not least, advertisements, advertisements, advertisements. That is one of many things that makes B-Stud so special. We currently have Tim Hortons, Taco Bell, and Pepino's interested in the advertising space. Michael?
So Thomas talked about the benefits and our goals for B-Stud in the context of GVSU. But our goals extend beyond that. Once we develop a prototype and establish its efficacy, we aim to make B-Stud ubiquitous across transit companies in the United States. Moreover, B-Stud's benefits extend beyond GVSU and those who don't want to spend the effort to download the app and use it. According to pewinternet.org, as of January 2014, 62% of Americans own smartphones. That leaves 38% that do not have smartphones and thus do not have access to the app, and moreover, and perhaps more importantly, are not being exposed to advertisements. So to recap, B-Stud's benefits are three-parted. First, to the consumer, both to those who have smartphones and don't have smartphones. Second, to transit companies in virtue of offering an alternative marketing platform to those to their more traditional static ads, such as billboards on the sides and backs of buses. And third and finally, to big and local businesses by offering both large-scale blanket marketing opportunities and also smaller geo-targeted marketing opportunities. With that, I'll turn it over to Stan.
And I'll give a brief overview of the technology behind B-Stud. Within each module, we'll have an unlocked 3G modem and for data transmission, as well as a Raspberry Pi 2 running an Internet of Things version of the Windows 10 operating system. This will all be powered in a sustainable fashion with a 5-watt solar panel and 2-amp batteries. On the software level, we'll parse our data and manage advertisement queues from a cloud platform. That way it gives us a central and accessible location for control, as well as minimizing the amount of power consumption at the module end. All the hardware, as well as the enclosure, costs about $324 for us to produce. And now I'll turn it back over to Thomas.
As of now, we have had lengthy conversations with the Rapid in implementing and testing the module. And as of now, we have 3, including 2 of the largest transit companies that are interested in implementing and testing our product. We are currently looking for a seed of $5,000 to help cover costs of production of 4 modules and application development for fall 2015. And with your help and your momentum, we can decrease the transit anxiety. Thank you.
Great job, guys.
Did you think about selling the app to the municipal transportation companies? There would be some performance information in there that could be valuable to them.
We haven't discussed that.
I'm sorry, can you rephrase the question?
If I am running the Grand Valley or the Grand Rapids transit system, and I have this information out there about the timeliness or not of my fleet, that would be good information I'd want to know so that I can improve performance and better serve the community. Did you give any thought to that?
Yes. There is a feed called the GTFS feed, and that is readily available to the public, but you have to do a little research. So the times that, and also they have put out a survey, the RAP had put out a survey to the Grand Valley students asking them if our buses comes on a timely manner. The results were 50-50. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm a little confused about the equipment that needs to be installed. Is this device would be at each bus stop?
That is correct.
And how would you secure the equipment so it isn't damaged and or stolen?
Well, we'd mount it with bolts from the inside to the actual bus stop. So that way you actually have to get inside the module in order to remove it. And that's our security measure.
And we're currently building a mount for the module as well. And I can't really tell you the way it works because it's still in the prototyping stage.
So I just have some clarifications on the revenue model. So the device is $324, and that includes some kind of hardened case on the outside as well?
That's correct.
Okay. And then who pays for that? That's purchased by the bus service,
Yes.
and so how do you make money? Can you just walk me through that a little more?
Yeah, sure. So right now we have an initial plan for that, and there will be an initial purchase from the actual transit service that we're in contract with, and there will be a licensing agreement that is set at a 20% per subsequent month rate. So all the revenue that's generated from advertising, we take that on. We actually were asked a similar question to this in our first presentation, and it was really helpful because we actually haven't had any one-on-one conversations with transit services about whether or not that price is fair. So we're going to do some cold calls and maybe perhaps ask this question of the Rapid and the other transit services to see if that's a price that they'd be willing to work at.
Great job, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have ELF Cosmetics.
Is it my email?
Go ahead. I just want to make sure you get it. That's all. It's a little tricky. Anybody know any jokes? Jokes you'd like to share?
That's too big.
Oh, that's good.
It's not even. It's not working.
She's got it up here, but it won't go on the other
Yeah,
screen.
but when I try to like change it, it just yeah. Hope this doesn't go bad.
If it does, it won't be your fault.
It says F11 to be full screen.
Right. Why is it not kicking out though? And everything's plugged in just fine.
Just do it. You might have to. Does everybody else have their presentation on a USB that's going to be presenting? Does anybody not? How about that? Raise your hand if you do not have it on a USB. Okay. Give us 1 second. We've got it pulled up. We just need to figure out how to get it on the screen because it's kind of like and it's in the browser, and we'll figure it out. Just 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the best way we can do this. 'Cause I don't know if we download it. I don't think that's gonna.
What is it? Is Haiku Deck? Okay.
Let's see if Sharup's got it here. We still have that.
You might have to do it without the.
I don't know if it's the laptop.
Hey, Sharup,
Because the one in the other room worked.
the one in the other room?
Yeah, the first time in the morning.
Oh, the actual, yeah, those work better, I think. I don't know what the best method would be on this. The problem is I don't really fiddle with this equipment often.
Yeah.
So, let's see. 'Cause I'm not seeing. The only thing I could think of, what's the display function anyway?
Well, it says F11 for full screen.
Yeah, but there's also a display on the computer.
Oh, right. Oh, this right here, right?
Yeah, see if that works. See if we can pull it off. We're duplicating, I would think that would pop out. And we got it. Perfect. So we got that thing. Now, the only thing is it clicking through well for you?
No. It's not working. Yeah.
I think
It only
you
goes up and down, but it doesn't like go to the next slide.
might have to click it right here.
Yeah, so you might just have to come back. If you can do that. All right.
Is it okay? We're gonna get going. Are you ready?
Sorry about that. Hi everyone. My name is Sarah Yongo and I am a Nigerian from West Africa. I'm a junior at Kuiper College and I'm here to pitch the idea, the business idea called Elf Cosmetics Nigeria. And this business idea was born in my mind 2 summers ago when I went home for the summer break. I was in a department store and 2 obviously wealthy women were haggling over the price of a mascara. And what struck out to me is that it's not that they couldn't afford to buy the mascara, but the exorbitant price. They just didn't want to pay that much for a small bottle of makeup that would expire in the next month or so. And so I thought about that for a long time. And so when I returned to Michigan for the school semester, I kept thinking about it. And there was this product I had been using right from my freshman year, and it was called Elf Cosmetics. And Elf stands for eyes, lips, and face. With Elf Cosmetics, the price range is ranging from $1 to $5. The highest price for Elf Cosmetics is $5. And so I really found that to be a very good business opportunity. And so in order to test the market, I purchased $50 worth of mascara and $20 worth of lipstick just to see what the response would be. So when I went home the next summer, the women, I actually went door to door selling it to my cousins, my friends, my mom's friends, and within 1 week, it was gone. And I really found that very interesting. Until this day, they still ask me to buy more e.l.f. cosmetics when I'm coming home for the summer. The thing that struck out to me the most in pursuing this idea was the fact that the purchasing power parity of Nigeria to the US dollar, to the Nigerian naira to the US dollar is so profitable that it enables this business to thrive. And so $1 is equals to 200 naira, and that's what the value is. I want to give you a debriefing of my culture. The Nigerian culture is based on vibrancy. It's based on tradition, and events are taken very seriously. And that's why the makeup market, the cosmetic market is very viable and sustainable. It's because people get married all the time, and people have celebrations we celebrate everything. And so when we celebrate everything, African women want to come out in their full regalia. They want to look nice. They want to look very colored up, if you will. And so they invest a lot of their funds into cosmetics. And so what happens is that when they can't afford to buy cosmetics at an affordable rate, then that poses a problem. And so I decided to bring e.l.f. Cosmetics Nigeria to their rescue. With this idea, I plan to reach a vast majority of Nigerian women, ranging from the college student to the millionaire's wife to the governor's wife. Just any type of woman can use this. And the advantage of this is that you're getting a product which is very affordable, but you're also guaranteed a very high quality. And the reason why the product itself is so affordable to purchase is because this is it's manufactured in China, and so that reduces the cost of production. And when the cost of production is reduced, then the gross profit margin is increased. I don't know if I have any economic people in the house. Yes. You will agree with me that when the cost of production is significantly low, that enables the gross profit margin to be boosted up to a very high percentage. And so I really saw this as an opportunity to expand the market and to make it grow significantly. Many people wondered why I chose Nigeria to plant this idea in. First of all, I'm a Nigerian citizen. Second of all, I want to leave the United States and take with me the knowledge I learned in the university here at college and take it back to my country and implement those ideas in order to create a sustainable and viable business that will thrive. Secondly, the gross domestic product in Nigeria is the highest in the African economy right now. We are an economic giant. We are $594 billion of GDP, and that is more than South Africa and Egypt combined. So that is something to think about. We have a very thriving and a very vibrant economic market, and that means that the more businesses that are created in that vibrant and thriving economy, the more profit is being made, the more job creation is going to be created. And so I want to be a part of that. I just don't want to sit around and wait for the government to provide jobs for the youth. I want to be able to empower the government, to empower the youth through job creation. And I strongly believe that e.l.f. Cosmetics will be able to do that with time. It will take time, but I will do it. You'll see. Finally, like I mentioned earlier, the purpose of my business is to, of course, bring value, but I also want to make money. And so by doing this, I plan to cut prices to gain an industry share and to also profit. And by doing this, I would target a huge market and sell the product at the lowest price possible and create an efficient rate of delivery and service. And so as the years go by and as I begin to make more profit, I'll be able to expand the product line and use the profit in generating a revenue that will improve certain factors of my business, such as research and development and technologically based aspects of my business as well. Finally, Henry Ford once said, "A business that makes nothing but money is a poor business." And yes, the Nigerian economy is huge right now, And yes, we are facing very high prospects for the future. But I also want to use 10% of the profit that I make from my business to invest into education, into the educational sector. Because from what I've seen in America, when there's no education, there can be job creation. And so the more we stimulate the minds of the younger generation, the more they are propelled to think and to innovate. And the only way that this can be done is through, thank you. The only way that this can be done is through efficient education. And so my plan, and I want to stick to this plan, is that at the end of every fiscal year, I want to donate 10% of the fiscal year revenue to sponsor a child through from K through 12. I don't know how do you Americans say it? Sorry, I forgot. Yes, K through 12. Yes, I want to do that, and I want to be able to also give them scholarships to progress to college. So this has been a long-term goal of mine, and I want to really implement that through this platform. Children they're the future, and the sooner we start investing in them, the greater it will be. So my business, generally, basically in a nutshell, is to provide cosmetics, but also to use the profit I garner from that cosmetic line to promote education, to stimulate economic growth, and to promote job creation. Thank you.
Great job. So while the judges are tabulating, I'm going to have Fit Frames come up here and get started with loading their presentation while we go through the question and answer. Fit Frames. Okay, let's get started.
Well, first of all, I look forward to you becoming a president of Nigeria one day. Second, just a question of clarification. Will you be selling your product door to door, or will you be selling your product through retailers? I wasn't clear about that.
I would like to have a retail store, and I would like it to be located in the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. That is the biggest economic city in the Nigerian sector. And so I'd like to have a huge retail store there where I can sell these products from. And with time, I hope to expand to other African countries, and not just any African countries, the countries that have, a promising GDP and a promising rate of return as well.
Do I understand correctly that you're actually buying an existing product and really importing it into Nigeria? And if that's correct, what's your barrier to the entry of your competition?
Could you please rephrase that?
I understood you to say that you were buying the products Chinese made, but buying them here in the States, so it's an existing product. Is that correct?
Correct. So this is like a franchise venture.
So what's the barrier to competition for you? How are you going to protect your market share?
Like I mentioned earlier in my speech, I said that I plan to start off with very low prices, and also provide great services, efficient services, and with time, I plan to improve my services and improve technology and also improve the prices that I have set down. I don't know if this answers your question, but that's my mode of action. And that's a business model, according to my research, that isn't, it's not evident, it's not prominent in other branches of business. No business in Nigeria promotes that business model, and no business in Nigeria promotes money to a cause. That's something we don't have, and that's something I learned from America that I want to take back to my country.
Thank you for your presentation. Part of my question was just asked, but to follow on with it, how do you control quality if you have it manufactured in China? You mentioned that this is a high quality product.
It is a high quality product. So your question is, how do I make sure that I'm consistent with the quality of the product? That's correct. As the CEO of this venture, I would plan to actually make trips to China, to where it is being manufactured, at least twice every year. to personally inspect the procedures that go into the production sector, and to make sure that these processes are in sync with what I originally started off with, and to make sure that we're consistently consistent.
Great job. Thank you very much. Okay, next up we have Fit Frames. Yes.
Hi, we are Fit Frames. I'm Allison, this is Christina and Carl. So our problem is that there's not a method for finding accurately fitting frames for your face. And if you have to go to the eyeglass store and you have to take off your current prescription to try on new pairs of glasses, how do you know what looks good on you? So you end up standing there, maybe taking a couple selfies, squinting at yourself in the mirror and trying to see if they look good. This ends up being time-consuming for both the customers and the retailers who are waiting on you to make a decision. This inaccurate fitting process leads to poorly fitting frames and unhappy customers. And in addition, almost 30 states do not require a dispensing optician to have a license, so the person who is helping you could be not a certified professional. Our solution to this is to use existing 3D scanning technology and create a kiosk that will scan a person's personal measurements. This will pair them with the best fitting frame options, and it will also provide an accurate digital representation of a large database of frames. So all these frames will go into our database with their specific measurements intact from various brands who buy into this. So your new fitting experience is that you would go to the local eye care store. You'd sit down and take a 2-minute quick scan of your face. You just lean towards the machine and it'll scan around your face, creating a 3D model. This 3D model will then be analyzed by our software for your specific measurements, say the bridge of your nose, between your eyes, anything that helps fit the frames. Then you can view your model on the screen, and you can drag and drop different glasses onto the model and turn the model and see yourself from all views with it. It will also give you suggestions of eyeglasses that are tailored to your face shape as well as specifically fit your face measurements. You can also view more products than can be offered in a store because you can have a larger inventory than a store is capable of keeping on hand. It also saves the store money because if they have a larger inventory for people to select from, what they make most of their profit on is cutting the lenses. So if customers end up finding a different brand that they want and ordering that in, the company still makes money off of cutting the lens. This also offers options to share on Facebook, so you can send it out to social media and see what your friends think of it, and then you can just purchase on store or order in. So since 61% of Americans are wearing glasses, we've got a large consumer pool, and since the average cost of a pair of frames is around $173, and there are 581 Pearle Vision stores, we're targeting young professionals because they're interested in the upcoming technology and they'll be willing to invest in it based off their style consciousness. And so our main value is that we are saving frustration and time for both the store and consumer. The customer is going to really love the fact that they can share this with social media and get friends' feedback, and also the fact that all of their suggestions are tailored towards specifically their measurements. So they'll end up with an accurately fitting pair of frames, and the stores will not require as large of an inventory, which saves them money.
So currently what's out there, if you look in the middle, glasses.com does a kind of a virtual video of your face with the glasses projected on your face of different frames, and you get to get a little feel of what it feels like to have these glasses on. If you look at the picture of the 3 people with all the same glasses and exactly the same placing, you can basically see that they're not fitted accurately to their face. They're just placed on there digitally. And then the one in the corner, the GKB optical, pretty much not even in the right area of the face. So we are targeting Pearle Vision as one of North America's largest chain with an in-and-out mentality. We plan to meet with the buyer of Pearle Vision and partner to distribute 10 kiosks. Target Michigan 1 year, then widening to Michigan year 2. Partnering with different eyewear brands for use of our database. When we did validation, we went to Pearle Vision Lens Crafters and a few other different opticals, and right now what they currently have are iPads and some measuring tools, and it's honestly kind of hectic if you're a customer coming in there just trying to get a great frame for your face. So they said that having our system in their store where the customer would basically get to kind of interact with the different frames themselves after getting their scan, would be something really interesting for their store. So for the revenue model, we would charge our stores $100 for the installation fee, our rent system to our partner ProVision stores for $20 a month for service and update fees. We would gain 50% of $20 for the scan fee to the consumer, which is an estimated 45 scans per month each store. And we would receive 10% of that transaction fee for each pair of frames purchased through our database.
Year one, we plan on entering 10 locations. ProVision has approximately 60 transactions per month, averaging $90. And then we plan to assist with 60% of those transactions. Each kiosk would cost around $3,200 to $3,400 the first year. And after that year, once initial tooling cost and upfront manufacturability is paid off, we would spend $120 per unit to have them made. Operating in the Midwest would cost approximately $60,000 for salesmen and then $20,000 for facilities to work from. So end of year one, we'd estimate to make negative $7,000. Year two, we plan to enter 10 more stores, bringing up our total to 20. Again, with the lower tooling costs being paid off, we estimate to make $96,000. And then year three, we plan to add 15 stores, bring up the total to 35, again increasing our profit margins greatly, and estimating $236,000 end of year three. As a team, we are Mackenzie Smith. She's a senior industrial design student at Kendall College of Art and Design. I am Carl Hohenschel, also a senior. Christina, a junior. Allison Charlie, she is a senior as well. We have John Cook, a Grand Valley business student. Pat Shields is a junior in the industrial design program. And future members, we would look for partners in sales, marketing, engineering, software development, different things to help our business grow. Here's kind of an in-store shot of what you would expect to see when you walk into Pearl Vision. This lady here is using it, picking out her frames, trying them on, figuring out which one looks best. If she wants to, she can upload it to Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and she could get feedback and kind of get a true feel of what her friends would think. The really honest answer there. And the next step would be taking $5,000, building a benchtop model, kind of prototype it, see if we could get it done. That would go into software development as well, and then just start scanning people, seeing if it would work in the real world. And yes, we are Fit Frames, perfect frames with a perfect fit.
Great job, guys. Can I have MAS, Mobile Ambulation Solutions, come up here and get started with their presentation?
Very interesting, great presentation. How long do you think it will take to go from where you are now to having a functional device in the store, including software and all that stuff?
For in-store?
Yeah.
Probably maybe a year or two once we get into software development as well.
For clarification, the device would cost $100 at Pearl Vision. You would sell it to them for $100?
We would have an installation. We would have an installation fee of $100.
Installation fee of $100. How much would it cost you to manufacture the device?
$120 after the first year.
And what about year two? Any thoughts about that?
Year two would cost $120 to manufacture, and then we get steady income from the rental per month. So over a year, they would pay off the manufacturing cost.
Got it. Thank you.
I can understand how you can do the scan of the face and get all the measurements and everything, but how would you have the information on all the different eyeglass possibilities?
That'd be something that we could potentially either get from the manufacturers who would have had the CAD data in order to make the molds, or we can make ourselves with other 3D scanning technology.
Good. You?
What's your exit plan?
I'm sorry, how so?
Do you want to keep running this as a business, and is it a lifestyle business that's going to provide you a nice income, or are you thinking that somebody will either license this from you or buy it from you?
I would expect we'd probably end up selling it.
Great answer. Thank you. Are you guys ready?
I believe so.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we've got mobile
Should I choose this one?
ambulation solutions.
Here we go.
I'm gonna trip over that for sure. No. We learned that last year.
I'll just use this one.
You good?
I'll do that.
Is it live? Oh, sound. Hello, everyone. We are Team MWest, Mobile Ambulation Solutions. I am Lindsay. This is Katie and Wes. So, what's the problem we're trying to solve? Well, right now, if you didn't know, when you enter the hospital anywhere in the United States, before you can be discharged, you have to be able to walk. So, the problem that we are trying to solve is patients need a quicker way for leg injuries to recover. Because right now, slow and inadequate rehabilitation often leads to re-injury and increases costs for hospitals and patients. As you can see, hospital staff are often forced to use bulky, heavy equipment or even perform re-ambulation mechanisms by hand. This is extremely costly to the hospital. Current CPM devices, that stands for continuous passive motion, devices are antiquated, bulky, and difficult to move. This is important because it increases labor costs to the hospital. In fact, when we interviewed nurses that use these devices on a daily basis, they even admitted to us that often they forgo using these devices altogether because they are so cumbersome. This means that they are forced to do these motions by hand, which means that one single nurse has to dedicate their entire 20-minute period on a single patient. These devices also only incorporate passive motion. This means that the device does all of the work. The patient isn't actively rebuilding muscle. So our mission is to create a device that effortlessly facilitates lower body rehabilitation. And how did we do this? Well, throughout our journey, we actually talked to all of the stakeholders involved, not just nurses and doctors, but also buying decision makers like department heads and administrative staff, as well as insurance reps from Priority Health and communication officers from Cerner. And what we learned from these individuals is that our device needs to be lightweight. Specifically, it needs to be under 35 pounds because hospitals often have regulations in place to help avoid nurse injury. So our device has to be under 35 pounds. It also has to be portable because these devices are often stored on a floor other than the patient floor, meaning they need to be moved on a regular basis, often daily, multiple times a day. They also need to be intuitive and accessible. Ideally, one person would be needed to set up this device to save cost.
Introducing MWest, the Mobile Ambulation Solution. Our final concept, it is portable and lightweight. It comes in a compact, lightweight package, weighs no more than your standard briefcase. It is also accessible and intuitive, only needing one nurse or a patient themselves to set up, and it only takes about 2 minutes to set up. MWest incorporates passive and active exercise techniques. Passive, meaning the device moves the patient's leg for them, also meaning that the patient does not actually take part in the exercise position. This increases circulation, reduces the threat of pressure ulcers, and also maintains flexibility of the patient's leg during rehabilitation. Now, the real innovation and the great differentiator of MWest is the active exercise program. This is when the device resists the patient's leg. So the patient must now actually work against the resistance of the machine, like working out your leg at the gym. This builds muscle, increases strength, and overall gets the patient on their feet and out the door quicker. MWest also comes with a companion app. With this app, they can connect to their physical therapist, check in with them, make sure they're doing everything accordingly. They can schedule home therapy reminders to make sure that they themselves are keeping on track. And they can also track their own patient progress, increasing compliance. As our company grows, we hope to develop this companion app into more of a platform so that hospitals and insurance agencies can connect with their patients and they can communicate, make sure that each other is keeping up to date. So let's take a quick walk through a typical user case scenario with MWest. A nurse will enter the room with the MWest device. She will easily slip the device underneath the patient's leg. This should only take about 2 minutes. This is really amazing considering that most devices take at least 5 minutes or up to get onto the patient's leg. And this can actually, just those 3 minutes of time can ultimately save the hospital $5.08 in labor cost. The patient will then proceed into passive exercise mode. And after the patient has successfully graduated from the passive exercise mode, they can move into the active exercise mode, where the nurse can come in and set the according time, angle, and difficulty for the patient according to their needs and their injury specifications. So the patient will then jump into active exercise mode. After they have been dismissed from the hospital and they're deemed ready to walk, they'll have to continue rehabilitation from home. This is great because MWest can actually go home with the patient and they can continue the rehabilitation in the comfort of their own homes. This is great because the rising cost of inpatient care has been substantial, and with this in-home method of MWest, it gives us the ability to capitalize on the increasing trend of outpatient care. This is also a great place for the app to shine, considering the patient has all the abilities that they would have in hospital right there at home. For engineering, we consulted with many different mechanical engineers. We had to learn what the inside was going to look like and how it was going to work.
So as you can see by the lovely Wes Keeley demonstrating, we have developed a proof of concept. Now keep in mind this is a very scary, ugly device. This is not what the final device will look like. It will look much more like the 3D printout on the back table. This was simply to prove that the basic mechanics of our product could and do work. So eventually this will be a much smaller, cleaner footprint that will fit concisely in a suitcase about this size. There will be no extra parts because we discovered from nurses that any excess parts tend to go missing very, very quickly. So it is all inclusive.
We took the MWest idea to a lot of our stakeholders and professionals in the field, and we got great responses. A lot of them said that taking the device in-home for inpatient care is a huge thing right now, and that would be incredibly beneficial to all fields.
So while this device was originally created with the hospital market in mind, that's not actually what we'll be entering. This is not our initial market. Due to the cumbersome costs of FDA approval, we will actually be going after the athletic market to begin. This is important because right now, the athletic market is a great moneymaker. There are over 420,000 athletes registered in the NCAA, and they experience over 150,000 injuries per year. These are new injuries, not re-injuries. These are individuals. About half of these injuries are knee injuries, so our device will be very beneficial. So in order to penetrate this market, we will be going through national organizations like the National Athletic Trainer Association, who has traditional outlets like online and print catalogs, and also hosts one of the largest trade shows in the industry. We will also be going direct to consumer to local physical therapy offices, who will also be participating in our rental program. So the reason that we have decided to price our product at $2,000, number one, it is price comparable, but also through talking to our potential consumers, we discovered that lower level administrative staff in the hospital, like department heads, could actually make buying decisions if the device was priced under $5,000. So this would allow us to easily enter the market. So a quick glance at our financials. In year one, we'll be creating 2 beta prototypes, which will cost $600 each to get into the hands of our potential consumers. So here are some of the quick highlights. The device will be sold direct to consumer for $2,000, but our main revenue stream will actually be through a rental program. The device can be rented for $25 a day which is just $5 more than a traditional CPM device on the market, which is already rented to users.
Our team is made up of 4 very brilliant people. We are headed with we're headed by our business lead, Lindsay Noonan. We have Wes Keeley, he's our user experience expert. Myself, Katie DeSuccio, I was design research, and Justin Beitzel, 3D development. To fill the knowledge gaps, we sought advice from mechanical engineers and entrepreneurship managers, and in the future we will seek guidance from software engineers and other mechanical engineers to further our prototyping. Our next steps, with the money from MWest, we plan to make a brand new beta prototype. We've already consulted with the Geek Group, and they have agreed to consult with us and guide us through the next steps in order to make this a reality. Thank you.
May I have Refresh come up here and get started with their presentation while we do questions?
So who wants to demo this product?
Yeah. Get on there.
Great presentation. If you do decide to go to hospitals as a market, what does your FDA path look like, and what can you tell me about that?
So we already, to ease this process, we already plan on using all FDA-approved materials and then keeping the necessary documentation running in the background. So this would be a Class 2 device. We're hoping this will be a Class 2 exempt device, so it won't be quite so cumbersome to get the approval. But the idea is that we enter the athletic market first and then actually cash flow the FDA process so we don't have to take out huge loans to do so.
Is there an aspect to this that's proprietary or patentable?
I am so glad you asked. So as soon as we actually finish finalize some of the design, we will be pursuing patents specifically around the way the machine regulates the active motion component, because this is unique to our device. Also around some of the software components and how the machine communicates with not only the app, but how the app communicates with the hospitals.
One of the real problems in at-home therapy after hospitalization is actually getting people to comply. How are you doing that?
So it's sort of like Big Brother-esque, but again with this app. So the machine will actually communicate with the app whether or not you are completing your exercises and to the level that you should be. The app will then share that information with your doctor. You'll have to pre-agree to this in order for it to be HIPAA compliant. But that's sort of how we are ensuring compliance, because with some of the new regulations in the healthcare industry, doctors are being rated not only on patient care and quality, but also compliance, re-injury, et cetera. So in particular, Priority Health has mentioned specific interest in this device if it does indeed do what we think it will do.
One more?
Given that people are not all the same size, how many variations of this are you planning to make available to the market?
So that's a great question. I know this looks pretty scary, but in actuality, there will be simple clips on the slide mechanism right here that will adjust the height of the actual device. As far as the width, there is really no need as long as you're adult. However, we will also be producing pediatric, bariatric, and geriatric versions as well.
Got time for one more. How many colors does it come in?
GVSU blue.
Now we're talking.
Very good. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. You guys ready?
We're good to go.
Okay. Next up, we have Refresh.
We're ready. Well, hello, everyone. I hope you are all as excited to be here today as I know we are. My name is Mackenzie Maxey.
And my name is Kayla Aita.
And we are here today representing our company, Refresh. Now, the entire business concept for Refresh came up with a lousy lunch experience. I had a 30-minute lunch break, so I went to one of my local delis to get something to eat. By the time I got back to work, I was disappointed when I opened up my clamshell styrofoam container to find that my mac and cheese, my fried chicken, and my Caesar salad had all been disgustingly mushed into a clump. So unfortunately, I had to throw out my meal as well as the container. So this got us thinking a lot about the issues that are currently facing restaurant to-go containers. We found that a lot of restaurants are using unnecessary access, which means that they have multiple food items going into multiple containers that the customers are having to carry home. We also found that there was a big lack of separation and the issue of sealability with containers. We also found that they were having to put smaller containers inside the larger containers, inside of a plastic bag, which all unfortunately end up in a landfill. So as we know, landfills are extremely toxic. The chemicals that we're putting in there with styrofoam is extremely toxic. Not to mention, even the consumable or the post-consumable products are not very user-friendly at times. So in comes our solution, the Refresh container. It is functional in multiple dimensions. It's compartmentalized, sealable, and is also 100% compostable. It's easy to eat out of and also easy for everyone to use. It naturally fits perfectly with the brand image of multiple delis and markets. It's easy for not only the deli employees to use, but also easy to hand off to their guests. And the user experience is as follows. You simply grab the Refresh container, fill it with food of your choice, slide the two juxtaposing sides together, flip the lids to seal, and then you lock the entire container together. There's also a perforated edge in the middle where if you did need to use a smaller size for depending on the portions of your food, that you could make just one side of the container.
So our focus is on providing our container to delis and food markets that serve multiple dishes and rely on upholding a high level of quality in their food, service, and their brand perception. We talked to many prospective vendors in our target market, and we found that 95% of them really liked our product and could see themselves using it and serving a specific need, especially with the brand perception issue. Also, the price point was not a very big issue for our prospective vendors because our price point is very close to the existing price point that they're already paying. And for those customers that are paying slightly below our price point, they feel that they'd be willing to spend a little more to have an improved experience for their guests.
So the businesses that we're serving have a really strong focus on local community, as well as providing a tool that shows that the food that they are creating and selling is important to them and important to those that are consuming it. So we are offering local businesses with a tool to communicate their brand image, as well as also making an environmentally conscious decision. Love technology. By doing so, we are going to add an option to do a branding element where the businesses can add their logo or their business name to the container. We're also offering a third-party branding opportunity for the customers that our customers serve directly, whether that is corporations or businesses that they cater for. So just taking a look at the competitive landscape, none of the other alternatives currently encompass everything that our Refresh container does as far as sealability, compartmentalization, and being sustainable. Our biggest factor is that we are affordable in all of these elements as opposed to our competition.
So we've been working with BBC Distributing since the very beginning. And what's great about BBC is that they already have an existing product line of eco packaging products, which makes it very easy for them to assist us in manufacturing and distributing. Also, they already have existing customers within our target market, and a lot of them are potential vendors that we've already spoken with, which opens up a existing sales channel for us to access. And then within our first year of production, we plan on doing direct sales ourselves to work on customer acquisition. And then after we go through our stage of acquiring customers and working through our design, we plan on having BBC absorb our product into their eco-friendly line of products. And then once we are officially a part of BBC's line, we would like to have our customers that we acquire be easily absorbed into BBC's customer base. So we got our quotes for both production and selling of our product from BBC, and those are 19 cents to produce and 26 cents to sell per unit, which is one container. And in our first year, that gives us a profit of 7 cents per unit. And when speaking to our prospective vendors, we found that most of them order a 500 count order per week, which ends up totaling in 2,000 units per month that just one vendor orders. So this gives us a high volume production model. And in our first year, we would gross $31,200, which would give us a gross profit of $8,400. In our second year, we anticipate that we can get our production price down to 16 cents per unit while increasing our volume to around 600,000 units. This gives us a gross profit of $60,000 in our second year. In year 3, we anticipate we can even further get our production price down to 14 cents per unit while also increasing our volume up to 1,200,000 units, giving us a gross profit of $144,000 in year 3. So with these portions, that gives us a 7 cent profit per unit in year 1, a 10 cent profit per unit in year 2, and then a 12 cent profit per unit in year 3. So our gross margin percentages will go up about 5% per year in the first 3 years. We also plan on having a royalty structure with BBC where we would base it off of the unit volume in 3 stages to start off. The first would be at up to 120,000 units at a 3.5 cent per unit royalty, and then up to 600,000 units, we'd be at 4 cents per unit, and then up to 1,200,000 units, we'd be at 5 cents per unit royalty.
Just giving you a little bit of insight into the team that I've been working with. I've had the honor and privilege to work alongside of some of Kendall College of Art and Design's finest industrial design students. I'm a business student from Grand Valley State University, and they have welcomed me with open arms. We had a ton of fun putting in our hard work and passion into this, and we truly strive to impact through design.
So our next steps are to get a patent, which is probably going to be around $3,000 for the design of our packaging. And then we got a quote for our tooling for our mold for our product from BBC, which would be around $3,000 to $5,000. And then we plan to invest in inventory and do market studies and then work on customer acquisition.
We are Refresh, and we are reinventing the lunch experience.
Thank you.
Job. Great. Can I have Safety Sit come up here and get ready while we're doing the questions?
I really like the way that fit together. I thought that was very creative. Do you have any plans for future products after this one? And what can you tell me about that?
Yes, there actually was one thing that we first thought of when we started considering branching out in products. And the first was when we talked to a lot of vendors, a lot of them use the plastic capped ramekins that also go inside of the shells. So we see an opportunity in using the same material to create a molded insert that would perhaps replace that. And then also different versions of our product, depending on the need for the consumer. We could change the size and the scale.
I'm reminded of my experiences at Whole Foods where I have these little boxes, as you described, with all the different items in there. While you're focusing on lunch, do you think you would go after companies like Whole Foods, grocers as well?
Yeah, absolutely, because that's definitely something that we considered throughout this process was people who are self-serving their food as well. And earlier on in this process, we looked at places like some of the Meijers have the fresh market where they have the deli section. So that similar scenario we definitely have considered, and we would love to eventually branch out into that as an option as well.
How much total money do you need, and how does the investor get their money back?
Absolutely. So we would probably need about $3,000 for the patent, and then $3,000 to $5,000 for the molding. I think that BBC would help us with the inventory, and the investors would get their money back through the high volume unit royalties. So.
Same question, how many colors?
Only the one so far. The whole paper only comes.
Whatever we can dye with natural dyes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Flash drive? Flash drive?
The safety sit? Yes. Okay, great. Okay, up next we've got safety sit.
Working? Yep. All right, I'm ready. Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm here to tell you about Safety Set, a device that supports patients during therapy. Therapists need their patients to be sitting upright and on the side of a hospital bed in order to work with them. However, these patients are disabled and they lack the core balance and muscles needing to sit up on their own. This makes the job for a therapist extremely difficult to do by themselves. Imagine yourself trying to hold up a patient while at the same time needing your hands free in order to work with them. Many therapists use whatever they can find in order to prop these patients up. Things like towels, pillows, even stools. Options that are not very effective and are potentially unsafe. Currently, the most common solution to this problem is to pull in additional staff and have them manually hold up these patients. However, this is extremely inefficient as it takes up the valuable time of trained professionals. Over the past several months, we have surveyed over 75 therapists and other healthcare professionals, and I've also interviewed personally over 40 therapists from a variety of different hospitals. I first worked with them to first initially validate that this in fact is a problem for both them and the hospitals. Here's some of the things that they said. Dr. Aldrich, who has over 30 years of experience as a physical therapist, told us that while he's working at University of Michigan, said it was very difficult to find additional staff to come in and help him. He found it impractical, and he found himself waiting around most of the time. Therapists don't want to have to spend their time looking for additional staff in order to come in and help them. They like working with their patients. Rehab technicians or techs are typically the staff that therapists pull in to manually hold up these patients. However, this type of work is a burdensome and a physical strain in their everyday job. Additionally, this type of work can actually cause harm to techs. One tech told us that they were put on forced leave for 2 weeks because they got tendonitis in their arm from holding up these patients. After hearing this problem reported to us over and over again by a variety of different healthcare professionals, and finding that there really wasn't any solution out on the market to solve this problem, we decided to build one. 4 months of hundreds of hours of market research and design, and countless hours of time spent in the machine shop, we invented the Safety Set, a device that could be set up in 1 minute and could allow a single therapist to work with their patient efficiently and effectively. The device can hold up to 600-pound patients, is conveniently foldable, minimizing storage space, and weighs less than 15 pounds, making it easily transportable. The therapists want to use this device because it solves their problem. It gives full back support, lateral support, and is completely safe for the patient. The hospitals want to buy the device because by increasing staff efficiency, they can decrease payroll costs. Hospitals often have dozens of techs that do this type of work manually for hours a day. And a tech's salary to do this type of work for over a year could buy 66 of these devices. Additionally, hospitals would rather have their techs do other, more important work. Finally, the techs want to use this device because it makes their work easier by decreasing this physical strain in their everyday job. So here's the good part. Once we started talking to these therapists, we were pretty happy that there was over 300,000 people that could really benefit from this device. However, as we kept going in and out of these hospitals, more and more people became interested. First, the nurses were interested because they often have to work with patients sitting up. Then therapists recommended to us other groups who told us that they felt this pain point and had this problem even more than they did. Eventually, we ended up with over 7 million potential users of this device. An additional market that we have not yet included in any of our calculations is the residential market. There are millions of disabled patients living at home being taken care for by loved ones such as family and friends. And there are huge medical benefits to having these disabled patients sit up at least once a day. However, just like in the hospitals, there's no real convenient way for these people to do this for their loved ones. A device like this could make a huge impact in this type of market. So with all the different groups that work with disabled patients, our market size is pretty big. In the United States alone, our total addressable market is $3.8 billion. We scaled that down to just look at Michigan, which itself has $154 million. Extrapolating from estimated purchases from existing hospitals, we estimated that 1 out of every 8 users could immediately benefit from using the safety set. So we're initially looking at a $19 million market comprising the most relevant rehab systems in Michigan alone. Here's a comparative look as to what therapists and other users are using right now in order to solve this problem. Gait belts are often used. However, they're only a means for controlling the patient, and they really don't solve the issue at hand. And they still require additional staff in order to use them. Foam wedges or pillows are limited and awkward as only certain sizes and shapes work with certain hospital beds. Makeshift solutions pose high risk for the patient, and they don't really solve the issue at hand. After all, therapists aren't engineers. Lastly, pulling in extra staff does provide the adequate safety for the patient. However, this financially is a huge burden on the hospitals and a huge inconvenience for the staff. There really isn't any product on the market aiming to solve this problem, and what therapists are using today are causing problems. The reason the Safety Sit is such a great product is because it's specifically designed to solve this problem, and we're designing it through the collaboration of the users who will be using it. Our go-to market strategy begins with selling to our partner Spectrum Health, more on them later, and to their connections at Mary Free Bed, University of Michigan, and Beaumont Hospital Systems. From there, we reach out to large distributors and purchasers to address all of the relevant rehab systems within Michigan, within the Michigan market. Currently, you can make the device for $200, and we came to a price point with talking to therapists at $560 for the device. Balancing ambitious growth with realism, we projected our financials 3 years following our expected launch date. Due to economy of scale, our margins do steadily increase. Here's a calculated break-even point, but I want you to notice that this number is a conservative estimation and also includes an allowance for many unexpected expenses. We can achieve this number of sales relatively easily by addressing about 10 of the rehab systems in Michigan alone. So who are we? My business partner, Franz Zarowski, who's here today, is a business student, and he loves entrepreneurship. He's actually been involved with two successful startups, one of which was just valued at $1.5 million. I'm a product design engineering student here at Grand Valley. I have manufacturing experience with Ventura Manufacturing, and I currently work at Steelcase as a product design engineer. We're also partnered with Spectrum Health, one of the largest healthcare systems in Michigan. They're actually the ones that brought this problem to us originally. They help us with market testing, FDA regulations, and they technically own the intellectual property, but are licensing it back to us for a 4% royalty fee. In just the past 3 months, Spectrum told us that they would buy 25 of these devices after we finalized the design. We wrote a business plan, won $1,000 in hatching in East Lansing, registered our company as an LLC, and won $7,000 at the Greenlight Michigan competition. Moving forward, the money from this competition we plan to put towards further prototyping and finalizing design, as this design is not perfect and there's a lot of things that we need to work out with it. And we are moving forward rather quickly as we already have hospitals willing to do market testing for us in the future. So this is a real problem with a huge market, and we are well on our way to creating a great product. We have experience, and we're partnered with one of the biggest healthcare systems in Michigan. We're committed, we're building momentum very quickly, and we're moving forward no matter what. And we want you to be part of that. Just remember, with Safety Sit, we've got your back. Thank you.
Can I have the artists, please, come up and get going? We're going to do your Q&A now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry. Are you picturing that this is something that the therapist would be carrying around, or would these be in every room, and how heavy are they?
Right, that's a very good question. So initially, we're kind of going back and redesigning it after a lot of feedback that we've gotten back from these therapists, and we're looking towards something that would be mobile, and they could stow it away. Depending on the size of the facility, they may want to buy more and just leave it in the room. But however, we're going to design it so it is mobile and they can go from room to room with it.
Could you provide a little more clarification as to how you came up with the $520 selling price?
Yeah, and actually, yeah. So I've actually spoken to several different therapists and nurses from a variety of different hospitals, and I went and brought this device and I said, this is what it's aiming to do. This is not the final product, but for what the pain point that it's solving, how much are you willing to spend for this? And that's around the margin in which they gave us.
Does that fit within the budget authority that the people have that you talked with, or is it going to have to get escalated up the chain?
Right, that's a very good question. A lot of those therapists actually are head of one of which was the head of all of the therapists in, they were the manager, and they actually had authoritative to make purchases. So we've talked to a few people who do have purchasing power, and this is a very reasonable price for what this is solving.
Is there a proprietary aspect to this that's patentable?
That's a good question. As we continue to develop the design, there will be something mechanically that will be patentable on it. That's what we're hoping. Yep.
One more? Should I ask the color question? No.
No.
Got an answer.
Have you looked into the, oh shoot, I can't think of the word I want now, elder care kind of market, rest homes and those sorts of things as well?
So that was kind of included in my residential market. That is included, and I'm actually going around right now talking to nursing homes, seeing if it could be used there.
All right, great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are at our final three. And up next we have the
Entrepreneurist movement. Is it on? Can you hear me? It is on. Okay. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. Can we get this off of here? Thank you. Thanks, Spencer. Hi, my name is Elena Clark.
And I am Haley Tanner, and we are Entrepreneurtists.
In the fall of 2009, I graduated with my degree in metalsmithing and jewelry. I know, it's kind of a crazy major, right? I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? It's okay, I didn't know either. So I moved away, I got a job, I got an apartment, I even got some animals. But I soon found that I was a little unhappy because I wasn't making work anymore because I was too focused on trying to make a living. I moved to North Carolina because I wanted to get into the MFA program at East Carolina University. The reason for doing this is because in art school, we are told that in order to become a respectable artist, we must obtain our master's soon after our bachelor's or join a gallery. Neither of those were in my horizon at the time, so I decided to focus on my own design line. I created these. These are what I call beerings. They're upcycled bottle caps. They were inspired by Harry Estelle Bierman, a very financially successful artist. I made a little bit of money off of these, but I struggled with the concept of this because it wasn't conceptual enough for my degree. So I felt as though I was doing a disservice. and I wasn't living up to my Bachelor's of Fine Arts. So I decided to investigate a little further to see if anybody else was having this problem. Through roundtables, surveys, and research, a lot of one-on-one conversations, and heavy debates on whether or not arts is a sustainable lifestyle, I've come to the conclusion that I'm not the only one. There are many artists out there who are struggling with the concept of business and art. But there is no bridge to close that gap. So what we are doing is we're solving the problem of combining professional development business skills with artists and teaching them the way that they learn.
In partnership with Avenue for the Arts and their director, Jen Schnaub, we'll be launching our first 6-week cohort program called Break It Down, Doing Business next month. With a focus on practical business skills inspired by the business model canvas, we will bring a strategy that is conducive to the creative learning style. Break It Down, Doing Business will break the mold of traditional small businesses and refresh entrepreneurship skills within creatives. The program and the curriculum converts business techniques into skills and terminology that the creatives can just understand immensely, and assesses the skills in the artist in relation to their business in a hands-on series that we will take in-depth look at artists' current business practices and envision a healthier balance between their business and creative output. This series will help identify and provide business building skills, identify opportunities, business tools, strengthen networks, refine marketing goals, reduce costs, and increase income. But Break It Down, Doing Business has the rare opportunity to take advantage of Grand Rapids' thriving entrepreneurial community in a way that supports artistic endeavors.
So our primary target market will be the art and design schools that are accredited within the National Association of Schools of Art and Design. We found that about 39 of those schools require professional development for their courses. However, when looking at the topics that are covered, we don't see business development or product development. And this is a problem because we need to equip our artists with the skills necessary to thrive and survive outside of their art and design school. Our go-to market strategy, will be the 6-week course through Break It Down, Doing Business. Little technical difficulties. It is very awkward. All right, 6-week course through Break It Down, Doing Business. Through this, we have secured a grant through the Avenue for the Arts that will allow us to run this course and only charge $50 for the artists to take this. And then after that, we will be working with Grand Valley State University's Professor Bev Seeley, who is specifically on sabbatical to focus on the lack of business development within their curriculum right now. And soon we'll be pitching to their art department to see if we can incorporate some of our curriculum within their already existing classes.
We have 2 different kinds of indirect competitors: self-directed learning sites and organization and accelerator programs. Self-directed learning sites favor the artists because they can use them at their own pace and at their own free will. Examples of this are Skillshare, Lynda.com, iTunes U, Noah University. And then there are services like Grow, CoStarter, and universities and colleges that also offer business professional development skills and classes. What we offer that they do not is a direct connection and focus on the artist. We have taken the business model canvas and multiple business-based tools and sources and converted them into resources that are conducive to the artist's learning style. By reframing the way that business is taught and eliminating barriers in terms of vocabulary and converting them into problem-solving questions, we can offer artists opportunities that existing resources just simply can't.
We understand that we are completely different than everybody pitching today. We are not a high-growth venture. We are here to help create a sustainable living for artists and take away the stigma of starving artists. So with that, all of our culminations of our research and development, our classes, and getting into Grand Valley State University, we will be creating a book. This text, it will be dueling as a textbook and a regular book that we will market to both the colleges and universities and our secondary market that covers all of the artists that are outside of the academics realm or have already graduated. In years 3 and 5, with the book on the shelves, we will have increased profit to $87,000 and $280,000.
The Entrepreneur Artist movement consists of 2 key members. Myself, Hayley Tanner, a product design and engineering student from Manchester Metropolitan University in the UK, currently studying on an exchange programme at Kendall College of Art and Design, and the lovely Elena Clark, who works at the Centre of Entrepreneurship and Innovation.
I am also, as you guys remember, graduated with my Bachelor's of Fine Arts, and I'm a week away from completing my Master's in Public Administration in Nonprofit Management and Leadership.
We are very fortunate to have an extensive team of advisors specialising in various fields and a wide range of skills. As you can see, we have a professor from GVSU's Art and Design department, and he can specifically identify what's lacking in the current structure, and we have multiple people who have successfully started their own businesses from multiple walks of life and currently work in the professional creative environment. Although we have strong advisors and access to strategic partnerships, we know that we are aware that there are holes in our competencies. We need to find assistance in legalities, finances, and marketing. We also need to find business professionals who are able to teach and talk artists.
So the problem is that there's a gap between these 2 worlds. And what we are doing is trying to bridge that gap by taking the business model canvas and switching it into questions, because artists are inherently problem solvers, whether it's for themselves or for the world. What happens when an artist comes into a community is they are able to bring a creative force that can drive the economy by creating jobs and by creating a more cultural background. Now, if you look at Art Prize, that brings in over $22 million in a 3-week period. I mean, if that's not testament enough to what the arts can do for a culture and for an economic boost, then I don't know what is. Imagine if we could take those 3 weeks and turn it into a full year. With the Entrepreneur Artist movement, this is possible.
So if they can't learn the way we teach,
then we should teach the way that they learn. Thank you.
Great job. So can I have the sleeved sock? Get that right? Okay.
I commend you on coming up with a business service that is very needed. Have you found in talking to the artists that they're willing to participate in such an extensive education program? I have been selling entrepreneurial education for about 10 years, and I find it very difficult to get the entrepreneurs to agree to it, no matter how much they need it.
Yeah, so our cohort is going to be launching in May, our first one. We plan to run 3 before we work on the first edition of the book. But through talking with everybody, we have 15 spots for a cohort program, and we've already filled up 13 of those, so we have 2 more spots open. There's a lot more interest in it, however, it's just not working with their schedules right now. So we're actually coming up with the dates so they can sign up for the next 2 rounds. So there's a ton of interest. It's just getting it out there and actually doing it.
How much will it cost you to develop the book?
The book, we've looked at it, we would like to go with a local printing press, and with the connections that I have through all of my connections, it'll be about $15 to print the book, because we also have our own set of designers that are willing to go pro bono to help for an interest in the company or within the book. And then we're hoping to sell it for about $40. Compared to all of the other textbooks, that's about comparable to the prices.
And after you get into a steady state environment and the pro bono work goes away, what do you think the real cost of producing the book will be?
Well, it'll be more so of doing more editions of the book, and so with the cost and the profit, we'll be able to pay the designers. And the designers that we have, the prices fluctuate, so it'll just depend on the market, and it will depend on where we're at in that time frame. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so now we have sleeved sock.
Every day, millions of athletes suit up to play a game of soccer, the most commonly played sport all across the globe. Now, one thing all of these athletes have in common is they're all required to wear a pair of shin guards before they take the field. Now, while shin guards come in all different shapes and sizes, typically they're sold just like this one. As you can see, it's just a single shin pad. There's no binding system or form of a Velcro to safely hold it to the leg. As a result, players are purchasing a second product to compensate for the lack of security that the shin pad holds to their leg. This has become a problem. I have seen soccer players use everything from elastic tape to Livestrong bracelets to hold their shin guard in the correct position. Now, while a lot of these products might get the job done, they're not getting the job done right. Shin guards are still sliding around too freely inside the soccer sock, and soccer players are constantly having to adjust them all throughout the soccer game. This is uncomfortable and inconvenient. Also, this requires soccer players to make a second purchase. This means that soccer players are spending more money on their soccer gear. Now, personally, I've played soccer for over a decade, and I can say that I've tried every product there is out there in the market to have that comfortable playing experience, and they've all just proven to be a big hassle and a waste of time. That is why our group has designed and created the sleeve sock. Now, the way the sleeve sock works is it's simple. Simply took an elastic sleeve and stitched it to the front interior side of a soccer sock. I'm going to show you guys.
Just talk loud.
I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to slide this in, and I have the soccer sock on. Yeah. So it's easy to use. You simply take your shin guard. The elastic's already in place. You slide your shin guard in, and you're ready to play. I don't know why you judges can see that. Yeah, you can hold on to that. Now, this soccer sock will eliminate all issues. It's simple. The shin guard won't move, and it will provide a secure and comfortable position for the shin guard. Also, this functional sock will save soccer players a lot of money, time, and trouble. My name is Mark Rugas, and I'm a finance major at Cornerstone University.
I'm Logan Norton. I'm a finance and marketing major at Cornerstone University.
I'm Tyler Peterson, and I'm a management major at Cornerstone University.
And I'm Rex Picard, and I'm a marketing and finance major at Cornerstone University. We have one more team member, Elijah Yee, and unfortunately, he cannot be with us today. So now, as far as target market goes, we wanted to take a look at that. But I don't know if you've Googled soccer sock data recently, but it's a little bit hard to come by. So through SBRnet, which is a credible sports database and research website, we took a look at that, and we found that 5 million soccer shoes are sold annually in the United States. Now, if for every pair of those soccer shoes, $40 were spent on soccer socks throughout the year, that would come out to $213 million in the United States. Now, we feel that we can take a nice little slice of that with our sleeve sock product. We also found that the Middle Atlantic and the Pacific region sell the most soccer shoes in the United States, and on top of this, households that have an annual income of $100,000 and up, they make up 45% of the soccer shoe sales. And lastly, the most prominent age of buyers of soccer shoes are actually 17. So for our target market, we realize that we're looking for younger people who do purchase soccer shoes annually and are generally in a higher income households in the United States. And that's where we want to start off.
So over the past decade, the soccer industry has grown significantly in the United States, and as it continues to grow each year, the niche market for the sleeve sock remains the same. There are no products out there in the market that can top the effectiveness of ours. There is one direct competitor, which is a pocket sock. This pocket sock is manufactured, sold, and marketed to children only. The problem with this pocket sock is that the pocket is made of a cloth-like material, and it doesn't provide the same security and comfort as our product. However, we wanted to recreate this concept and expand it to a larger market, provide it for older players that play at a more competitive and high level. In order to do this, we wanted to make this product more high quality, so we got rid of the material inside and we put a tight elastic sleeve to ensure that that shin guard is in a safe and comfortable position. Also, indirect competitors include elastic bands, athletic tape, and elastic sleeves. Now, elastic bands is a simple elastic band that wraps around the outside of your sock and over the shin guard. The problem with the elastic band is it's thin and it doesn't cover the entire shin guard, so that shin guard is easily knocked out of position after you make contact with another player. Also, elastic bands can be pricey. However, they're not as pricey as the next competitor, which I'm going to mention, which is athletic tape. Athletic tape is arguably the most expensive competitor on the market because soccer players are constantly have to repurchase more rolls of tape. Also, in order to get athletic tape to work correctly, soccer players use a whole bunch of it. So this, as a result, it just costs more money and more time. The third competitor is elastic sleeve. So this elastic sleeve is comfortable for soccer players, and it's simple tube-like elastic material that goes over the shin guard and underneath the sock. The problem with this, however, is that elastic sleeve is not attached to the sock, so still when players make contact with another player, or they sweat or slide, that elastic sleeve and shin guard are sliding down their legs, and you see them constantly pulling it up all throughout a soccer game. However, that is why the sleeve sock is the perfect solution. So we want to take that comfortability of the elastic sleeve and apply it to a soccer sock and stitch it in place so that there's no movement there. Now, this product, it's a perfect solution, and I've actually tested and worn it at a competitive high level of play. And it's actually raised a lot of questions from some of my teammates. They've all gathered interest, and the soccer sleeve sock did exactly what I wanted it to do. It held my shin guard in a comfortable position, and I was able to focus on what I was doing and didn't have to worry about my shin guard moving around too freely all throughout my play. So the soccer sock, we strongly believe, is an innovative product that will raise the standard for soccer gear all across the globe.
Okay, I'd like to move into the business model aspect of our soccer sleeve sock here. We see 4 big pillars that we need to address here. The first is market leader. There's nothing out there that's like this. This is kind of something that's new to the market. We have some different competitors, but this is, untapped potential that we have here. Secondly, we have a large margin that we can sell to. We can make this product for pretty inaffordably or pretty inexpensive, and then return and sell it for something that's a lot higher than what we had to make it for. Third is full team sales. We want to sell this to full teams like colleges, high schools, or youth programs that we can sell to all at once so that we can move the product more quickly and generate some more revenue. Lastly is potential product line expansions. We want to expand this product to different sports potentially, or different applications of the product, or different materials. Okay, from the business model, we want to move into the key activities. We see 3 huge points here. Is the manufacturer relationship is number 1. Without the relationship of the manufacturer, we're kind of without the whole entire company here, because we need to manufacture this product and have something that's reliable and quality. Second, we want to get into the right retail locations. I heard a saying that said location, location, location. So location is key, right? We need to be in a place where people can buy this product and be able to afford it and be able to get it on their hands when they need it. Third is the online store. This is kind of something that is huge for us. We need to have a storefront in this new technological advancement age. Without an online store, we're not going to be able to capitalize as much as possible on the potential that we have here for our sleeve sock.
So now I'm going to talk logistics and financials. Logistically, we're planning on producing in China, which will cost about $6.12 per sock, including taxes and all kinds of other things involved with that type of production. Shipping costs about $2,000 per 1,000 socks, so it is very expensive. So that's why after year 5, we plan to raise enough capital to be able to create in the United States production facility. Our first year, we plan to sell about 10,000 socks, and by year 5, we hope to have a whole 2% of the market, which will be $2.2 million in revenue. So with a $6,120 production fee and $1,500 in shipping, we can generate $15,000 worth of sales. We plan to spend about $5,000 in marketing over the first year to really get our name out, and we expect for our patent to cost between $5,000 and $20,000. So that's why our required investment would be around $10,000, so that way we can get that initial batch ready. Because our plan is, we've got a lot of local connections through Shoreline Sports Center and others, things like Gazelle Sports, where we can really infiltrate these retailers. Then we'll move into college teams, hopefully getting teams on board, spread throughout the United States, and then with the help of our website, we can go global because soccer is truly a global sport. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Great job. Great job, guys. Can I have Vandergen come up here, get ready? Last but not least, of course. Questions?
Are you all on the Cornerstone team?
It's just me.
Okay. You all kind of look like soccer players somehow.
We've all played in the past.
It's all experience.
I had a couple questions, actually. The sock manufacturers, do you have any, is this proprietary at all, or could someone just start to sew these sleeves into their socks?
Well, there's nothing stopping you from. I mean, we paid a friend to stitch the shin guard sleeve in there, but that's why we plan to get the patent as soon as possible. That's what a lot of our initial investment money would go towards, would be getting that patent so that way we can protect our investment.
I have a related question. Since you mentioned this competitor, the pocket sock, have you investigated whether what you're doing might infringe on their patent?
You want me? I can get it. Theirs is on the outside of the sock, and it's targeted towards small children, whereas ours is on the inside. And in a patent, that type of a specific thing is a dramatic difference. So we're covered.
Are you charging enough, excuse me, are you charging enough money at $15 a sock? Will the market bear a higher price?
We actually plan to go to $20 a sock in retailers because there usually is a 30% markup. But we plan, and as we gain popularity, we can increase in price, but we need this to be an accessible option for people to use initially. We need soccer teams to be able to afford it.
Are you selling the insert as well, or is it just, does it fit a standard guard inside, or I don't play soccer clearly.
Yeah, any type of shin guard that's just that single pad that doesn't have the attached ankle guard. With the elastic, it'll stretch and it'll be able to fit in and slide right in.
And I've cut off the straps on my shin guards for years. It's pretty common for shin guards to have no strap, but it's very universal.
So could you elaborate on any discussions with retailers or college soccer teams and their interest in your product?
So I've spoken with my teammates at the college level, and I've also spoken with my younger brother who plays at the high school level, and he's had interest in this. And I've spoken to two of his friends as well, and they've all said that they didn't understand why this already wasn't out there for players at our level who are competing, competitively. Why wasn't this already available? So there is interest there that we're trying to meet. Also, one of our assistant coaches owns Shoreline Soccer, and his daughter actually helped me sew the sock together, and he's interested in the product as well.
Great. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Rex, is this yours?
Whoa.
Is it working? Yeah.
Okay. Vandergen.
We're ready?
All right. Well, hello. My name is Jordan Vanderham, and I'm an engineering and business student at Grand Valley State University. My company is called Vandergen, and we focus on hands-on STEM-based education for elementary and middle school students. We're talking about enabling our future generation in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Especially as in the current market, there are 3 million unfulfilled STEM-based jobs in the United States, which can account to about $78 billion in salaries each year. So as our students continue to grow up in a world, they're going to enter a world that demands proficiency in the areas of STEM. So 99% of teachers affirm that after working with their students in a hands-on based manner, that these kids retain more information, then they're 76% more likely to apply that information to future situations to come. So yes, STEM-based education is very well off. It's been applied in multiple curriculums, but the difficult part of it is that it's difficult for teachers to incorporate it into their curriculum due to time and other constraints, as the teachers don't have the funds or the energy to create their own curriculum for the very school, but the schools don't have the funds to adopt in a corporation to come in and give them a proper solar-based curriculum. So what we have done is created a hands-on, so what we have done is made it simple and fun to learn about STEM. Our primary product is a kit that enables each student to create their very own solar panel. This panel can then be used to incorporate and investigate mathematical and scientific hypotheses in a hands-on and STEM-based curriculum. Before we get into our primary competitors, I wanted to talk about the solar panel, the prototype that we just passed around. This panel is the 8th rendition of it. It has an injection molding frame around the front pane of glass. The encapsulant used is going to make the solar panel last for about 20 years. This is the primary MVP of our solar panel kit. So our primary competitors are Project Leadway, Engineering is Elementary, as well as Zipper Labs. But where these people focus on hands-on mechanical-based education, we focus on educational empowerment with an emphasis in sustainability. And I want to bring up the green bubbles on Project Leadway as well as Zipper Labs on your price, because as these schools, to implement these curriculums into the school, the universities or the schools have to apply for a grant by the government. So it's free for the schools, but it takes a lot of paperwork, and it lasts for about 3 years. So deciding that I wanted to go into education and I loved it, and I was still an engineer, we decided to actually do this. So what we've done is we've gone out and taught 100 people from the ages of 6 to 78 at $45 per seat how to make their very own solar panel. And boy, has it been a great success. We did this in both Michigan and in Nicaragua, and in English and in Spanish, and boy, it's been a lot of work, honestly, I have to tell you, but it has been oh so satisfying. Because with all of these workshops, we've been able to understand who our primary addressable target market is, fund our initial research and development, as well as understand what questions our kit has to answer when we seek to send this out to people that we can't engage with face-to-face with. So continuing on forward, we wanted to seek and work with our primary addressable target market, which are the students that attend schools that already offer STEM-based extracurricular activities. This shows that the parents are interested in STEM or are willing to fund this. So leading the way is Traverse City Public Schools, where they have committed to a 40-student family-based solar panel workshop. And it's happening in 2 weeks, and it's going to be a lot of work for me to do, but I am oh so excited for all of this to happen. It's $55 per seat at this workshop. And coming soon after is Walden Green Montessori, where they have committed to an additional 40-student solar panel workshop. So I wanted to show the compression of how we found our target market. So coming down is we're seeking to find the top 10% of schools that had a STEM engagement, which is about 6,285 schools in the United States. But we're shrinking that down to about 426 schools in Michigan, as one of our advisors is on the board of education and is a math consultant and knows about 76% of the schools and legislators so that we could actually be incorporated into the school within the next 5 years. Our next steps for this company is over the past year, we've received a lot of attention from people outside of our reach in the greater United States. So what we have decided to do is grow our company so that we can scale in a greater period. So we're going to still keep these solar panel workshops so that we can continue to engage with our people in a hands-to-hands manner so that we can test new processes, get a very great control on public media, as well as work with people and then still get the joy of engaging with our students. But as well as we're trying to create a solar panel-based curriculum, a STEM-based curriculum, all focused around the same solar panel kit with an emphasis in sustainability with videos, photos, and renderings so that we can send this kit out to schools and universities all around the United States. So over the next 8 months, we're going to be funding our research and development. So we have $85,000 going towards the injection molding, which is going to go to the frame around the solar panel. A lot of that funds is also going to go towards inventory, as we've already created our prototype. We've already done our wire transfers to Germany, trying to get the very best cells, and we've already lined up our manufacturing. So this is just execution, finalization, as well as bringing someone on the team which is able to write these grants so that some schools, like Traverse City, which are in a little bit of a less wealthy school, they can still have the same opportunity. Our primary financials come from either where the schools or the parents pay us either where the schools or the parents pay us to host a workshop or purchase the kits. The schools can either get the funds from themselves if they're a private school or from a grant, which is what's happening at Traverse City Public Schools, where one of our math consultants has completed and achieved a grant for them. We chose the top 10% of schools. We chose the top percent We chose the top 10% academically performing schools so that we know that the parents put a value on education. So then they can pay for us to provide the teachers with these kits and curriculums so the teachers can engage with their students in this. The teachers do the teaching. We simply provide the kits and the curriculum. Showing our basic financials, you can see that we've been revenue positive for the past 2 years. You can see an increase from the year 2015 to 2016, as through these solar panel workshops, we've been funding our initial research and development for all of this. So as we seek to scale and break even in 1 year, just selling 126 units, we won't have to pay that additional research and development. Over the past year, we have received a lot of attention from people outside of our reach and a lot of advisors in the areas of education, energy, distribution, and automation. We have put these people in key places so that we can seek to scale in that applied amount of years so that these people can use their insights in education so then they can help us make the mistakes that they've made so that we can go even faster. So again, we're Vandergen. We're a company that makes it simple and fun to learn about STEM in a world that demands proficiency in these areas. If you're interested in finding out more information, simply find me at vandergen.com or check me up after the break. Because let me tell you, the future is oh so bright. So let's go out and make something that you never thought possible. Thank you.
Great job. Questions?
Thank you. Can you elaborate a little bit on what's actually in the kit and who's developing the curriculum, where all of that comes from?
Okay, so one of my advisors, Mary Van Valen, is developing the curriculum for this. They're a primary adopter, the school that's going to happen in about 2 weeks. She's working with me in developing the curriculum, which will be a 6-week-long curriculum for the schools. The kit contains the raw resources to make the very own solar panel. We have a proprietary process on assembling these solar cells so the kids don't have to worry about eating them if they're too young or cutting themselves if it's too sharp or burning themselves using, which is what's done with other manufacturing processes. Thank you.
Who makes the buy decision in order to purchase this course and put it in the school? Who do you have to get to say yes?
Okay, so that's the very fun part. And that's where it takes about 4 months to work with the legislative, or the branch inside of the school, the legislative branch inside of the school. So what we've done is we've gotten a few people that know these people, gotten a few advisors that actually interact with these people that have the decision-making decisions so that we can be incorporated into the school.
Generally speaking, the financial condition for the education system in schools is challenging.
Yes.
How have you thought about the risk of margin compression going forward as your customers continue to have a financially challenging future?
Yeah. So currently we have about a 50% profit margin on these solar panel workshops. And as we scale, due to economies of scale, our margin will get larger. But as schools, we're targeting the top 10% of schools just because of those financial reasons. And we're attacking the other schools that are in the lower area through governmental-based grants. We also have corporations that have committed to sponsoring solar panel workshops, such as DUR, as well as Trick Tool. So those people have committed because they like education and they put a value towards it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. Go ahead.
Testing. Now we got it. Okay. First of all, to all the students, congratulations. You did not make the judge's job easy. So it was. We're running a little bit late because of the deliberations and the toughness of making some of these decisions. So to everybody, you did a great job, and we're glad that you took the time and energy to make this day happen. But I think when you do look back at these kinds of events, you'll find out how much they can impact your life and how much they can change what you do and how you learn, and kind of how much more comfortable you get in taking the next step. So congratulations to all. So we'll be giving out the awards today, and we'll be taking pictures as we give out the awards. since we did do some modifications to the awards, there's a couple of the checks that we do not have today, so you will have, you can't cash these checks anyhow, but so you will have an IOU from us, and you will have it in a picture of it too, so we'll do that. Also, to any of the WMCUG members who are here, if your team wins and if you want to come up to be a part of the picture, you're more than welcome to join us in this process too. Just to clarify, we have a number of awards to give out, and that you can see in the program, but we also have the pitch awards to give out. The pitch award is the only award that you can receive, a pitch award, and then also one of the classification awards. So that's the only other one. So if, for instance, someone wins one of the classification awards, they, like a first or second, they might not be able to be eligible for a category award. But the pitch award, you can win both a pitch award and one of the category awards. So anyhow, I'm going to, before I turn it over to Spencer to work on this, I'm going to talk about the first award. And honestly, this is probably one of our most favorite awards because it is called the Spirit of Entrepreneurship Award. And it's the one we give out to the team or who actually kind of does what you have to do when you start a business, and that is overcome adversity. You kind of persevere no matter what you do, and no matter what happens to you. And so we actually did this last year because we saw some really great plans and some people who made great efforts, and we wanted to recognize those efforts. And this year, there was no doubt in our mind who should receive this award. This award goes to people who have overcome some adversity when preparing their business plan and preparing for the competition, but also who have persevered and have taken advantage of all the resources that we have. And one of the reasons we do this competition this way is because we know not all students and not all teams have access to the same kind of level of resources. So we do this as a community resource to not only give you access to the community, but also so that everybody has a chance to do that. But the Spirit of Entrepreneurship Award goes to a lady who not only lost her team, but lost her business plan and stayed there. And not only kept working on it, but she also just kept persevering and is here today. So Holly Hernandez, we want to give you the Spirit of Entrepreneurship Award. So. Holly's company is called Jitney, so come on up. You want to get your faculty member? Come on up and join us. Yes, please.
Where's Amy at? Can she hear me? Amy, she's supposed to be listening.
We'll do this one.
There she is.
We'll do this last.
Well, she's right here. We've got what?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Well. Okay, we're gonna move right along. I've been vetoed. The next category that we're going to award the prize for is the pitch, and to begin with, it's the $1,000 prize awarded to Vandergen. Dad, you wanna?
Dad, where is he?
No? Is it?
Come on down, guys. Come on. Yeah, get the parents up here too. Yeah.
All right.
By the way, this goes for anybody. If you brought family members, brought faculty, you can have them up here too.
And if you want me in the picture for an extra fee, I'm willing to do that too. Half of your, yes. Unless you have a coupon.
So we want to see that on the Christmas card next year and send it to everybody here.
In the fridge. And following up with the top prize in the pitch category is $2,000 award goes to Green Pumps. We got one more. On his shoulders. Great job, guys. Okay, now we're into the specialty categories. To begin with, it's a $2,000 prize for lifestyle awarded to the Entrepreneurist Movement. Okay. Anybody else want to? Great job. Next, we have a $2,500 prize for social impact. Wait. What? Yeah? Okay. Awarded to Green Pumps. Welcome back, guys.
So if you guys want to change your order up a little bit, we can just
Different check.
Those pictures, you can get those pictures put on a magnet, put them on this refrigerator.
Okay, now we've got a $2,000 prize for innovation by design awarded to Levitronics. Levitronics.
Congratulations, guys. Good job. So where did you bring it back with you? Scott, is Scott not coming in?
Scott, you want to come up?
Get up here.
No?
Come
Too
on,
late?
Scotty.
All right, here he comes. Hang on.
This is. Move on down.
Not next to each other.
Yeah, we're gonna go right next to each other.
Okay, do that. Mystically.
Okay, congratulations.
Okay, $2,500 technology prize goes to Elevated Perspective. Da-da-da-da.
So as they're coming up, I want to remind you all that one of the sponsors of this group is called GR Current. GR Current is basically our entrepreneurship network that it helps companies like Elevated Perspective and others, develop their technology, and also it's a way to get access to some of the early stage capital. One of the programs we have there is called the Business Accelerator Fund, which you can get some grants to actually try to get you to another milestone. So if you're interested in continuing to pursue it, make sure you talk to someone at GR Current. Thanks.
Good job, guys. Spectrum Awards. Right?
Yes.
Spectrum. Okay, now we're going to move on to the awards from Spectrum Innovations. It was I'm sure you guys noticed that there were some healthcare categories in there, and these awards go to that category. So to begin with, our first runner-up is a $2,500 prize awarded to Safety Sit. And there's no check. So we apologize, but you should still come up here and take your picture. I should get it out of the way that there's also no check for the first runner-up of the grand prize. So bear with us. They will get the real one. They just know Monopoly money. Great job, guys.
So I think many of you saw the power of the corporate innovation work that's coming out of Spectrum Healthcare. They actually have invited all the colleges and universities to be a part of that. And the way they do it is they look for teams to work with their clinicians and other people in the hospital to solve hospital problems for them. It's a model that we worked with them and have developed, and a number of the other colleges and universities are involved in. And so not only is it, one, helping them solve their problems with some really great talent, but it's given the students an opportunity to work on real life problems and create a portfolio and a resume that takes them to takes them a long ways. So anyhow, it's a great program. I don't know if any of the Spectrum Health Innovation people, Brent Mulder or Scott Dager, are here. Scott's back there. So Scott, raise your hand, because they supported this with this and so. And if you want your university to get involved in the program, you should be talking to Scott, because they're doing it with Central Michigan and all the colleges around here. Thanks.
Okay, big money time. The top prize from Spectrum Health Innovation is $6,500, and it is awarded to Airway Innovations. Scott, you want to join us?
Congratulations. You must have a good collection of big checks. Eric went and won the grand prize at the Green Light competition at Michigan State University a couple weeks ago.
How much was that for?
$25,000 was what it was worth.
So did you guys hear that? So this is adding to his $25,000 from Greenlight at MSU. Okay, on to the grand prize for the whole shooting match. The first runner-up is $2,500, no check. It is awarded to FitFrame. $2,500. Did I say that?
Where's John Maroney?
John Maroney is sitting down. Come on up here. Get up here. Okay, last one. How do you guys feel about a drum roll? Drum roll? Yeah, top prize. $6,500 goes to Refresh.
Again, another thing that's unique about this competition is that we have teams that are comprised of more than one school, and that's exactly what this team is. So you can see the power of putting the business and the design and getting all the resources in the community together. So thanks. Hey, John, you coming back up for this one? Come on up. How do you want to do this one?
Amy. You want to?
So we run out of money. So that means the show's over with, except for the thank yous. So, I think all the representatives from the West Michigan Colleges and University Group and community are all thankful for a few people that have been worked on this. A lot of the staff work that comes out of this comes through the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and particularly there's a group of people standing here. So with the staff that worked on it, will you please stand up? So stand up, come on. There's Michael, Tyler, Amy Gascon right there. She's part of the team too, so thank you. But we all serve at the behest and at the under the direction of Sharuk Amala. So this wouldn't happen if it weren't for Sharuk. So we want to say thank you to Sharuk, and we want to give her our flowers from WIMCAG to thank you for that. So let's all give Sharuk a big thank you. Thanks. She makes it happen, so we're appreciative of her work and everything. And to all the judges and all the people in the community, thanks again for being a part of this. You can see why we look forward to this day and why it's special to us. But more importantly, you know, let's keep watching the fruits of the labor here continue to grow. So we will want you all to continue working on your businesses, and as you do work on your businesses, we like to follow your stories. So make sure that when you receive something from us, if you're continuing to work on it, let us know that you're doing it, and we'll keep telling your story. And that's just as important as the story you told today. So thanks again. Thanks for a great day, and thank you all for all your hard work. So have a good